I never thought at 58 years old would find myself standing in a hotel room with my heart pounding like a teenager's. But there I was, holding my overnight bag, looking at Robert across the small space. Both of us pretending this was perfectly normal. We had known each other for 33 years. 3 decades of friendship that started when our kids were in the same kindergarten class. His daughter Emma and my son David had been inseparable back then, trading juice boxes and building block towers. Robert and I had bonded over school fundraisers and soccer practice carpools. His wife Linda and my husband Tom had gotten along well enough. We were just 2 families doing what families do. But life has a way of changing things. Tom passed away 6 years ago after a short battle with cancer. Linda left Robert 2 years later, saying she needed to find herself. At our age, we both thought we understood what loneliness meant. We were wrong. It went deeper than either of us had imagined. The friendship between Robert and me had always been easy. After we both found ourselves alone, it became something more precious. We met for coffee every Thursday morning at the little diner on Maple Street. We talked about our grown children, about the gardens we were trying to keep up, about the books we were reading. Sometimes we just sat in comfortable silence. Reading the newspaper together, it was Robert's sister's wedding that brought us to this moment. She was getting married in Charleston 4 hours from home. Robert had asked if I wanted to come along for the drive, make a weekend of it. I said yes without thinking twice. It seemed like an adventure. We had booked 2 rooms at the hotel. That was the plan. 2 separate rooms, just like always. Just friends attending a wedding together. But when we arrived at the front desk, tired from the drive and looking forward to freshening up before the rehearsal dinner, the young clerk gave us apologetic smiles. "I'm so sorry," she said, typing frantically on her computer. "We have a system error. Your second room reservation isn't showing up and we're completely booked for the weekend. There's a big medical conference in town." Robert had immediately started problem solving, calling other hotels. Everything was full. The clerk offered us the room we did have confirmed, which thankfully had 2 queen beds. She was terribly sorry. She upgraded us to a suite at no extra charge. Robert looked at me with a question in his eyes. "It's fine," I said, surprising myself with how calm I sounded. "We're adults. We can share a room for 2 nights." And that's how we ended up here. Robert set his bag down on the chair by the window. "I'll take the bed near the bathroom," he said. "I get up more at night anyway." I smiled at that. We were at the age where these things mattered, where we joked about our creaky knees and our reading glasses. But standing here now, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. A nervousness. An awareness that the wedding was beautiful. Robert's sister Patricia looked radiant, even at 62. Her groom Daniel held her hand like it was made of precious glass. During the ceremony, when they exchanged vows they had written themselves, Patricia talked about second chances. About how love doesn't have an expiration date. About how opening your heart after loss is the bravest thing a person can do. I felt Robert glance at me during that part. I kept my eyes forward, but my throat felt tight. At the reception, we danced. Just once. A slow song that the DJ played for the older crowd. Robert's hand was warm on my back. We had danced before at various events over the years, but this felt different. Or maybe I was different. Maybe we both were. "You look beautiful tonight, Claire," he said softly. "I should have told you earlier." "Thank you," I whispered. "You look handsome yourself." When we got back to the room that night, we were both a little tipsy from champagne and tired from dancing. We took turns changing in the bathroom, putting on our sensible pajamas, going through our nighttime routines. I had brought a book to read. Robert had his crossword puzzle book. We lay in our separate beds with the lamp between us casting a warm glow. For a while, we were quiet. Then Robert spoke. "Can I tell you something, Claire?" "Of course. I'm scared of being alone for the rest of my life." His voice was steady, but I could hear the vulnerability underneath. I thought I was okay with it. I've gotten pretty good at the solo routine. But tonight, watching Patricia so happy, it made me realize I'm just going through the motions. I set my book down on my chest. "I know what you mean, do you?" He turned his head to look at me. "Because sometimes I think you're the only person in the world who really understands what my life is like now." My heart was doing that pounding thing again. Robert, we've been friends for so long. I know. It's quiet for a moment. Is that all you want us to be? The question hung in the air between us. 33 years of history. Years of being there for each other through illnesses and graduations and losses and small victories. Years of knowing someone's coffee order and the names of their grandchildren and what makes them laugh. I don't know, I said honestly. I'm scared too. What if we ruin everything? What if it doesn't work and we lose each other completely? Robert sat up in his bed, his gray hair standing up a little on one side. Even rumpled and vulnerable, he looked good to me. Or what if it does work? Said. What if we already have everything we need and we're just too afraid to see it? I thought about Tom, about the love we had shared for 32 years. He had been a good man, a good husband. If he could speak to me now, I knew what he would say. He would tell me that life is for the living. That love doesn't diminish love. That my heart was big enough for everything it had held and everything it could still hold. Come here, I said softly. Robert crossed the space between the beds and sat on the edge of mine. I took his hand. It was warm and familiar and new all at once. I think, I said slowly, that maybe we've been more than friends for a while now. Maybe we just needed to admit it. He smiled, and in that smile I saw the young father I had met decades ago and the man he had become. So what do we do now? We take it slow, I said. We're good at that at our age. He laughed, and I laughed too, and then somehow we were holding each other. Just holding each other, feeling less alone than we had in years. We didn't cross any dramatic line that night. We just lay there in one bed instead of two, talking until we fell asleep. We talked about our fears and our hopes. About what it means to love again after loss. About whether we were too old for this. About whether there was really such a thing as too old for love. When morning came, sunlight streaming through the hotel curtains, I woke up to find Robert's arm around me. For a moment I felt panic. Then I felt peace. He stirred and opened his eyes. Good morning, he said. Good morning. Any regrets? I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I said, not one. Good, he said, and kissed my forehead. Because I'd like to take you to breakfast. And then I'd like to take you on a proper date when we get home. If that's okay with you, that's very okay with me. We drove home that Sunday with the windows down, singing along to oldies on the radio. We held hands across the console. When Robert dropped me off at my house, he walked me to the door like a proper gentleman. See you Thursday, he asked. Thursday, I agreed. Same time, same place. It's a date. I watched him drive away, then went inside to call my son. David answered on the third ring. Mom, everything okay? Everything's wonderful, sweetheart, I said. I have something to tell you. And I did. Because it's never too late for kindness. It's never too late for love. It's never too late to fill the holes in your heart with something beautiful and true.